Welcome everybody to another episode of Getting Over the Hump, presented by your boy Phoenix Born. You already know a new word, a new theme for the week, getting you out of the struggle, keeping you motivated, focused, the whole works. So I'm gonna stop for a second and we're gonna get to it. The new word of the week is numb, as in N-U-M-B. And the definition states, as I look on the screen, incapable of action or of feeling emotion. I don't know that next word. Prostrate. I don't know. We're gonna go back to the original definition. Incapable of action or of feeling emotion. What does that mean? Usually the best way people can relate to this definition is when you're cold, like let's say your arm is cold and you just start losing feeling because you've been out in the cold weather for too long. That's a feeling of numbness. A lot of people like to relate it to emotion. Let's say they've been hurt a lot and they're just so used to pain or feeling hurt that they're numb to it when it happens again. You can also use that in your own life and journey, depending on what you're doing. Let's say you're trying to progress further in your career, but you keep getting rejected or keep getting told no. You become conditioned to it, and now anytime you want to go for another position or you try again, you're not as enthusiastic, you're not as energetic as you once were because you're so used to feeling rejected in that state. This also happens with people in friendships or relationships. They try to maintain it by being good people, doing good deeds, always being there for that person. But sometimes it's not returned, and what happens is they're so used to being let down that they're numb as well. So they don't feel that emotion that they once did of just wanting to help because that's who they are. And it's a sad emotion to feel. It's a sad state to feel because once you're in that trance of feeling numb, it's very hard to get out of it. It's very difficult to tell yourself, just because you've gone through a series of bad steps, that doesn't mean it's always going to be bad. You're able to turn it into a positive. There are different ways to go about it. First step is really look in you and figure out why you're feeling the way you're feeling, whether it's emotional pain, physical pain, spiritual pain. There's different types of pain out there, but you have to be honest with yourself and tell yourself, okay, I feel numb in this area of my life because of this. And the only way to fix this is to do X, Y, and Z. So that's one step you can do. Sometimes changing your support system does help. I've done a 360 with my support system. I have new friends. I've redesigned my inner circle. So now my close friends are my close friends. And that's helped a lot. Now I don't feel as numb, or when I go ahead and ask for help, I don't have that feeling of they're just gonna say no or they're not gonna bother with it. No, if you've been there for them and they're there for you, you shouldn't feel obligated to be numb. You should be able to go to them and say, hey, I need your help because of X, Y, and Z. Is there any way you can help me out? And you're starting to tell your body and your mind this emotional state of numbness is not permanent. It's only temporary. We all have waves of numbness emotion, and that's normal because we're all humans. It's natural. It's how you respond to it. You start changing the way you think. You start changing the way you react. You start changing your outlook or your perspective on life. And that's how you go about it. You also have to address it. Just because you acknowledge it, you have to be proactive in something. If something is bothering you in your life because of a constant emotional state, well, you have to do something about it. If you're constantly getting rejected at work for whatever reason, and you've done your best to overcome it, well then find another job or go to another location. If you've tried applying for a certain school or university and you just keep getting denied, try for another school or just do it online. Find a way to overcome that numbness, because from numbness enters depression, and most of the time when you enter a state of depression, it leads to suicide, and that's not what I want from anybody. I don't want nobody to be down that trance. I know how that trance feels, and it's not fun and it's not pretty. Numbness begins from a feeling of repeated emotion where you're not able to reciprocate it back. So always be cautious on your emotion. That's going to be the root cause for it. Learn to address it, learn to be proactive about it, learn to acknowledge it, and find a support system that is willing to listen. Not only just listen, and when you ask them for advice, they give you correct advice, not advice from social media or from what they heard, advice that will actually benefit you. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and this week's episode. I wanted to address a little bit more of the serious side of your own journey. Like I mentioned before, everybody likes to talk about the good of doing better in life. A lot of people don't address the bad, and then when they do, they just do bits and pieces of it. They're not willing to actually expose what happens on the bad side of a journey. Not saying that things are bad, but what affects you in a negative way. If you like the video, hit that like button. If you think somebody needs to hear it, go ahead and share it to them. As always, take care, stay safe. On Wednesdays, Getting Over the Hump by your boy. Take care, bye.